In this presentation, you will learn 3 activities you can do to reduce your anxiety. You tend to be excessively anxious and worried. You can't sleep or concentrate on your activities. Anxiety disorders are widespread and can affect anyone. Sometimes you don't even know what you're worried about. It's like a bad feeling, but the suffering is real and lasting. This unbearable anxiety can lead to various physical symptoms like insomnia or problems concentrating. It can become challenging to live in everyday life. Even if a medical consultation with a therapist may be necessary, certain little tricks can help you cope with anxiety daily. Here are 3 activities to reduce your anxiety and react more positively. Bring laughter in your life. According to research, laughter and humor are as much a factor in physical health as psychological. It relieves tension and pain, acts like important anti-stressors, and softens physical and mental pain. Laughter can reduce, if not eliminate, the stresses that sometimes make us anxious. Some studies estimate that 1 minute of laughter is equivalent to 45 minutes of relaxation. Laughter is a release of tension, even in the most challenging situations. It also promotes the protection of the individual against anxiety-provoking feelings such as over-dramatization of frightening situations, pessimistic anticipation, and self-pity. It encourages openness to be more realistic or optimistic, and prevents the individual from seeing themselves as a victim rather than as an actor capable of finding solutions. Find a funny meme or a video that you can always watch when you start feeling anxious. That way, you are prepared to bring laughter when you're not feeling your best. Relax your body. This muscle relaxation exercise is simple and only requires that you alternate between muscle contraction and relaxation. It is based on the principle that there is a relationship between emotional state and muscle tension. The more you are contracted, the more tense you are, in body and mind. It is therefore a question of contracting different muscle groups and then relaxing them by becoming aware of their relaxation and thus inducing a state of rest. It's not easy to feel the effects right away, but persevere. This exercise has proved its worth. After a few sessions, you will feel the benefits. Find yourself a 15 to a 20-minute window where you know no one will bother you. Choose a quiet room without too much noise or light. Lie down on a bed, or if that's not possible, sit on a chair. Close your eyes. Contract a muscle group for 3 seconds. Then slowly relax for 6 to 9 seconds. Being aware of the muscle relaxation, always with your eyes closed, calm, relaxed. The idea is to change muscle groups during the exercise. Start with the hands and arms on both sides, then the face, neck, and shoulders, then the chest, back, and belly. Breathe by inflating the belly, and finally, the feet and legs that you are going to extend. Go for a walk. No time or desire to practice the relaxation exercises? You prefer experiencing high-energy activities, or you need to let off steam? No problem. Just put on yoga pants and go for a walk or a run. Physical activity is good for stress. It clears your head, relaxes the tension you've built up throughout the day. It has been medically proven that minor anxiety decreases rapidly after 20 minutes of exercise, resulting in a state of relaxation and well-being that persists during and even after the activity. In this presentation, I will teach you 4 steps to rid yourself of anxiety. These 4 steps are things you can do today. In no time, you'll find yourself feeling less and less anxious in your life. Here are the 4 steps. Step 1. Cultivate awareness. Awareness is the ability to recognize the present moment, or in the case of anxiety, to acknowledge the current symptoms that you are experiencing. To rid yourself of something, you need to be aware of its existence and understand it in a way that allows you to change it. When you become aware of your feelings and how you react when anxiety is present, you become better equipped to prevent anxiety from creeping up on you. Start by observing your emotions and feelings. What makes you go into a space of anxiety? Can you identify a series of feelings or steps that lead you to feel anxious? It is quite possible that at first, it is a certain emotion that you feel, and the anticipation of anxiety coming up leads you to feed that emotion even more and therefore increase your chance of experiencing anxiety. Step 2. Find peace within. When you've identified what emotions or state leads you to experience anxiety, you can prepare yourself to react differently to that state. You must find peace when you are observing your feelings. Many people think that we have to experience fully all emotions that go through us, but that doesn't always serve us well. Being at peace with our emotions is a bit like watching TV without reacting to what we see. Learn to observe your feelings without giving it too much mental energy. You don't have to analyze all the feelings that you have in a day. You can simply acknowledge that it is present and let go of the need to know why. Step 3. Shift your energy. Once you can observe your emotions with calm and peace, you can move to the third step, which is to choose to change your attention to something more positive for you. Here's an example. You're sitting in the kitchen sipping on coffee. All of a sudden, you think of your week and how much work you have. That thought triggers stress in you. That's when you can start the process of observing. Not give too much energy to the stress reaction. Providing energy to it would mean to start thinking of how you hate your job, that it's too much work, that people are not helping you, that you will fail at the tasks, etc. When you observe with calmness, it gives you the space to shift your energy and come back to the present moment by acknowledging that right now you are okay and enjoying a coffee, that you will be at work in an hour and you will organize your work schedule to be successful this week. You got this. Step 4. Go deeper. Once you've started mastering step 1 to step 3, you will find that observing your feelings with calmness while shifting your energy to something more productive will become easier. Then you can start a deeper reflection on why you react so much to certain situations. This deep reflection will help you solve that deep-rooted issues that trigger anxiety. It could be that you have that false belief of not being good enough, or that your unhealthy need for approval is causing you a lot of stress. Whatever it may be, consider seeking support to help you move out of that cycle. You don't have to do it alone. In this tutorial, I will teach you 5 things that serene people do to find balance in their life. Serenity is something that is not always accessible, and yet we seem to crave it in our life. I've looked at what serene people appear to all have in common and will share 5 things that can help you access balance in your life. Have no expectations. Serene people tend to be serene because they don't nourish expectations about life or how their day should go. Peaceful people have the habit of going with the flow and live in the present moment. When you don't have an expectation, it's very hard not to meet them, and therefore, you don't lose balance in life because you're not trying to be on one side of the spectrum, or the balance. Assess where you hold many expectations and attempt to reduce them so that you can live in the moment. Develop a healthier response to stress. Stress is experienced when we don't feel like we can meet expectations. As you reduce your expectations, you also learn to develop a healthier response to stress, which is not to put extra weight on your shoulder. There's no point in worrying about something. It doesn't make you more efficient to worry and stress about expectations not being met. Instead of perceiving stress as a time where you lack abilities, perceive stress as a time where you need to step back, take a deep breath, and tell yourself that everything will be okay. Limit distractions. Distraction is another word for a waste of your energy. We only get so much energy in a day, and then recharge during sleep. Pay attention to where you spend your energy, because once it is spent, you don't get more, unless you sleep. Serene people can find a balance between giving energy to things and people they love and giving space for them to recharge their batteries. Make sure that you are not off balance with providing too much and not allowing space and energy to receive. You can start limiting your distractions by spending less time where you feel it's a waste of your energy. In essence, social media or complaining about work. Make choices that will allow you to spend your energy in places that are important to you. Know themselves. Serene people have found peace within. To find peace within, you have to learn to know yourself. Take time to spend quality time with yourself, like meditating, journaling, nurturing your body through self-care, or even enjoying a delicious and healthy meal by yourself. Find things that you love to do and do it with yourself. Find ways to enjoy your company and mostly discover your authentic self. The more you will find peace within, the more you will see your life becoming serene and balanced. Feel gratitude. Gratitude is the act of recognizing the good around us and in our life. Serene people are grateful for what they experience, for the people around them, and for who they are. Start your gratitude journey by writing down daily what you are grateful for. You can focus on external aspects, but try to add some elements of you that you are thankful for. It is often easier to recognize others, but it's even more vital for you to be able to identify the good in you. This will allow you to be more confident and increase your self-esteem. Research shows that serene people are more confident than others. In this presentation, you will learn 6 strategies that will help you tame your emotions. Emotions are not always easy to live with. It's okay when they are positive emotions, but when it is sadness, anger, shock, or frustration, it can become a big limitation in your life. Here are 6 simple ways you can learn to be more comfortable with your intense, negative emotions and tame them. Be aware. Emotional awareness is a way that you can prevent yourself from giving too much energy and attention to unwanted emotions. For example, if you're watching the news and you're not emotionally aware, you can find yourself getting very angry at the world. If you practice awareness, you can immediately catch yourself getting angry and choose to switch channels. Focus on what you love. Many people tend to focus on the gaps or the negative aspects of life. By doing so, you allow space and energy for negative emotions within you. It's almost like you are looking to experience negative emotions, so you find something negative to get the experience you want. That said, shift your focus on things that you love. The more you do what you enjoy, the less likely you're going to experience intense negative emotions. Embrace your emotions. The reason for taming emotions is that they can make us uncomfortable or make rash decisions, and in some cases, behave in a way that is less than classy. The key is not to ignore emotions, but learn to embrace them and express them more healthily. If you feel anger rising in you, acknowledge that you are getting angry and find a way to express it without projecting it on someone else. A good way would be to go to your car alone and scream your anger or write down all the angry thoughts that cross your mind and flush it down the toilet for ultimate release. Observe your language. The words we use every day are filled with emotional content. For example, people who use the F word tend to be perceived as angry people. On the other hand, people who use words as I wish or I can't tend to be perceived as victims. Observe the words that you use and what they say about you and how you feel. Once you've identified those words, shift them to something more positive, like I can, I'll try, or I will. Evaluate yourself. A great way to tame your emotions is to evaluate or reassess your feelings from experience and identify how you could have reacted differently. For example, if you flipped during a staff meeting and made an angry comment, reflect on how you could behave if that same situation happened again later, which is very probable. What could you do differently, and how can you be better prepared not to react next time it happens? Be compassionate. Reality is that interactions with the outside world often trigger intense emotions. If you cultivate compassion, you're less likely to perceive other people as mean or trying to make you angry on purpose. An excellent way to start nurturing a compassionate mindset is to express gratitude for every person you interact with within your day. You don't have to tell them out loud if that makes you uncomfortable, but make a note to think something friendly and genuine for every person you encounter in your day. You will see that in no time, you no longer are triggered by certain people because you no longer perceive them as the villain. In this presentation, I will share with you 7 things you didn't know about emotions. This information will help you find a more peaceful life and learn how to manage your feelings on a daily basis. Let's explore these 7 things. There are no bad emotions. We have been educated to classify what we feel as right or wrong. The reality is that every emotion plays an essential role in your life. We confuse destructive or bad attitudes with the emotions we experience. However, if you block a feeling you don't want to experience, you will be stuck in the same place for a long time. You can learn to observe emotions. You don't have to judge your emotions. When you feel a feeling rising, you can simply observe it. You can do so by taking several conscious breaths in and out. Observe your breath at least 3 times. Then observe the emotions and thoughts that go through your mind. Accept them as they are. You cannot avoid them. They are there. Finally, as soon as an emotion tends to overwhelm you, try to go back to what started it, then to your breath. There are only 2 emotions. Love and fear govern everything we experience. The rest of the emotions you experience are variations of one or the other. Emotions perceived as unfavorable derive from fear, and emotions that are perceived as positive arise from love. They can help you grow. Our emotions can help us heal, but they can also hurt us. Emotions are vibrations inside our bodies. Each emotion has its strength as well as its personality. They can appear and disappear depending on how strong and how much we put attention and energy to them. If we take the time to explore the emotion, we can learn a lot about us and discover what aspect of us needs to heal. You don't have always to embody the emotion. Realize that we have the power to act instead of reacting. The verb to act is defined as to enter the scene, to come into play. It comes from oneself. We put ourselves into action. The verb to react is defined as presenting a modification in response to the action of an external agent, which means we're responding to someone or something that we don't have control over. When we experience emotions, we can choose not to react to the emotion, mainly if others trigger it, and experience it in a healthy way. Act. The expression of an emotion is normally 90 seconds. An emotion is a physiological reaction, not a psychological reaction. All humans have the same emotions regardless of age, but adults have, in general, the ability to regulate and temper them. The expression of emotion lasts about 90 seconds and takes place in 3 stages. The charge, the rise of the body's sensations, tension, the feeling comes into action and behavior, and the discharge, like crying, screaming, or shaking. Besides, it takes 6 seconds to absorb an emotion in the body. If you experience an emotion for a long time, it's because you choose to experience it longer. Emotions are very contagious. When we see someone experiencing an emotion, our brain stimulates it. We feel that emotion in our bodies. It's what we often call empathy. Not only can we feel someone else's emotion, it can also be expressed in our facial muscles with a smile, frown, etc. Emotions are contagious. It is to our advantage when we experience positive emotions, but can be detrimental to a situation when it is a negative emotion. In this presentation, you'll learn about the 8 signs that tell you it's time to find balance in your life. The 8 signs are the following. You find yourself often exhausted. Is always feeling low on energy something familiar to you? If so, it is a sign that you're not able to find balance in the energy that you spend versus the energy that you recharge. It's time that you learn to balance where you spend your energy. You have lost sight of what you like. When we are off balance, we are often doing things for others that don't mean much to us. It's easy to stop living our life and live the life of others. If you aren't able to answer the simple question, what do you like to do today? It might be a sign that you need to direct more energy and time on yourself. You can't find time for yourself. If after reading the previous paragraph, your answer was, how can I direct more energy and time on myself if I don't have time for myself? The issue is not time. Your issue is priorities. You can have all the time in the world. If you don't put your life as a priority, you'll never have time for yourself. Find ways to put yourself as a priority, and you will see that all the time in the world will be available for you. You cry a lot. Crying is not a bad thing. It's very healthy to cry and release some emotions that way. Although when everything makes you cry, it could mean that you are going down the spiral of being out of balance with your feelings and your life. Take the time to pause and reflect on what needs to change in your life to find more balance. You hate your life. When you hate your life, it means that at one point in time in your life, you've made a decision that wasn't serving you well. That decision could be as simple as accepting life was happening to you, and you had no choice in what was coming your way. In this case, the lack of balance stems from all the power you've given to external factors, when all along you can take back those powers and choose to enjoy life by making small changes that will improve how you feel. Your home is a mess. When I notice that my house is exceptionally disorganized, it is a clear sign that I have been off balance between my work and personal life. Sometimes, the simple act of taking the time to clean the house will help us think more clearly and regain a balance in our life. You can't seem to find your belongings. On the same line as having a messy home, not remembering where you place things means that the lack of balance is in your head. You might be distracted by overthinking certain things or worrying about others. Find balance by clearing your mind and live in the present moment with practicing mindfulness. You crash on the couch after work. If all you want to do is nothing, there's a big chance that you're working too much or spending time where it doesn't fulfill you. When you do things that fill you with joy and fun, you don't drain your energy as quickly and still manage to find time and energy in the evening. It might be time to look for a new job. In this tutorial, I will give you the secret to letting go of worries and anxiety in your life. I'll share with you one of the things that help transform your life, and you will discover the power of this secret technique. The secret technique I want to share with you today is breathing. Yes, it is that simple. If your energy is low, physical anxiety and mental stress come automatically. Your anxiety is nothing more and nothing less than energy problems. You lack energy. Let's check your energy right now. Sit down comfortably. Observe your breathing without changing it, and use a stopwatch. At the end of exhalation, stop breathing and start the stopwatch. Without forcing yourself to hold your breath, stop the stopwatch as soon as you feel the need to breathe in again. The number of seconds on the stopwatch represents your energy level or the level of oxygenation in your cells. The more oxygen your cells have, the more energy you will be able to experience. If you have panic attacks or are struggling with anxiety, your score is probably below 25. A study has given this test to thousands of patients and demonstrated that a participant with a score under 40 seconds was not healthy, mind and body. This exercise is pretty simple. The lower the score, the sicker you will be. This is how you can overcome anxiety and anguish naturally and definitively. By increasing your energy at this breathing test. The secret lies in your breathing. You may not have paid attention to it, but anxiety and stress make your breathing completely chaotic and agitated. Poor breathing necessarily leads to low energy. Breathing or relearning how to breathe correctly can help your life. To increase your breathing test score, and therefore your cellular oxygenation level, you will necessarily have to restore acceptable breathing practices. Breathing is the secret of many high-performing athletes to increase their energy level and control their stress level to perfection. According to this study, to eliminate anxiety from your life, you will have to aim for a score of 30 seconds to 60 seconds. The score of 60 seconds represents a perfect state of physical and mental health. Here's a simple technique to improve your breathing. Close your eyes. Let your breath go, unconscious and automatic. Take a stopwatch and count the number of breaths you take in 10 seconds. Repeat the experience by taking a slow, calm breath. Inhale deeply for 2 to 3 seconds and blow for 5 to 6 seconds while feeling the movements of the stomach, rib cage, and whole body. Another breathing technique is the following. Sit on the floor against a wall or lie down on your back. Inhale slowly and deeply through your nose. Place one hand on your stomach and exhale through your mouth while slightly tucking your tummy in. Then, breathe in through the nose, inflating only the belly. Blow slowly through your mouth. Repeat the exercise 3 times in a row. You can do one or both techniques as many times as you need during the day. The more you practice, the better score you will get at the energy calculator. After a week, try the test again and see if you can improve your score. In the long run, you will notice that you are experiencing less anxiety and that the quality of your life is improving. Breathing is key to optimal functioning of many aspects of your health, psychological, and physical. In this tutorial, I will teach you the one secret you need to know to master your anxiety. Anxiety is an emotion that can cause a vicious circle to unfold and lead us to be very limited in our life. What is most challenging about anxiety is the physical aspect of it, such as increased heart rate, rapid breathing, because it can lead to unwanted states like restlessness, trouble concentrating, and difficulty falling asleep. In some worst-case scenarios, the individual can also experience an anxiety attack, where the symptoms become more intense like fainting, dizziness, incapacity to breathe, distress, fear, and numbness. Since anxiety can be a huge limitation in your daily life, it is understandable that you try to find ways to master it and get back with everyday life. The key to master your anxiety is to prevent the downward spiral from happening and apply the secret: mindfulness. Mindfulness is a well-researched field and has been proven to be a great ally when one wants to master his or her anxiety or unwanted emotions in general. As mentioned on anxiety.org, mindfulness teaches us how to respond to stress with an awareness of what is happening in the present moment, rather than simply acting instinctively, unaware of what emotions or motives may be driving that decision. By being mindful, you quickly catch yourself when you feel anxiety creeping up. The key is to catch yourself quickly by being aware or conscious and shift your mind so that you don't give too much energy to the situation you are experiencing. Here's a straightforward exercise you can try right now. Sit down with one hand to your heart. Focus on taking 3 deep breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Every time, imagine that you are filling your lungs completely and then emptying them. When you catch yourself feeling a tiny bit of discomfort that often leads to full-on anxiety, take a moment to sit down and set the intention to feel calm. Place one hand to your heart with the intention in mind. Take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Every time, imagine that you are filling your lungs with peace and then releasing the tension in your body with the expiration. Once you've repeated that breathing 3 times, ask yourself how you feel. If you feel good again, go on with your day. Otherwise, sit a bit longer and practice that peaceful breath until you feel that the anxiety is no longer creeping on you. Feel free to practice this type of breathing anytime during your day. You don't have to feel anxious to do it. The more practice you will get with being in the moment, the less anxiety you will feel. Anxiety is often fueled by past and future thoughts. If you learn to live in the moment, you no longer ruminate about an experience or worry about the future. Mindfulness is a beautiful addition to treatments you are already receiving for your dealing with your anxiety. In addition to practicing the breathing technique, you can also practice being aware of your emotions and your sudden shift of states. The more you will know yourself, the easier it will be for you to master your anxiety and identify early signs of anxiety that can be stopped before it becomes harder to control. Be patient with yourself. Mindfulness can be difficult at first because we tend not to be self-aware. With time, patience, and compassion toward yourself, you will be a master at it. In this tutorial, I will teach you the top 3 things your negative emotions are trying to tell you. First, let's understand emotions. An emotion is a psychological reaction lasting only 3 to 4 minutes maximum. It allows our body to respond in an adapted way to a stimulus from the environment. The body is put under tension, energetically mobilized to act or flee. Emotion has a bioregulatory function since the discharge of emotion allows the body to return to its fundamental equilibrium. If emotions are a purely psychological reaction, feelings are a mental construction. It is an emotional state of a psychological nature, even if a feeling can be an extension of emotion. For example, anxiety to fear, a disappointment to sadness. Feelings are what make us experience an emotion over and over again. When we can't let go of an emotion, it's because we connect it with a mental activity that tends to relive the past or focus on the future. So this tutorial should be called 3 things your negative feelings are trying to tell you, and let's find out what these are. You need to focus on yourself. When you experience intense feelings, it means that there is something in you that is triggered. Instead of reacting to it, take some time to retreat to a calm space where you can be alone. Take a deep breath and try to observe the emotion. Ask yourself these 3 questions. 1. Where is the emotion located in my body? 2. What exactly does it feel like? 3. What things evoke this emotion in me? The purpose is to get to know the emotion, to experience it, and allow all the time that you need for that exercise. You must enable the space and time to experience it personally. You lack balance. When you experience many negative feelings, it might be a sign that you are off balance with your emotions. To bring back emotional balance, sit in a position where you feel comfortable. First, do a body scan. What sensations can you notice? Is your posture straight and relaxed? Then check your breathing. Is your breathing relaxed? Keep your awareness on your breathing for a few moments. Next, shift your awareness to the whole room, including yourself in the room. Be aware of the environment around you while keeping your eyes open. You become aware of all sensations without labeling them. Do not judge anything. Do not fixate on anything in particular. Just observe. In each of these steps, if your mind begins to wander in thoughts, notice it without judgment. Then gently return your awareness to the present moment or of your breath. If you can relax in this observation state, come back to observing when you wander. Try it for a minute and see if you can let go. Become aware that you don't have to be involved in everything in your mind. You can operate in a way that it is almost like you're watching a movie or a play where you are an actor. You need to change your mindset. As you've experienced in the 2 previous exercises, your mind has a lot to do with how you feel. Changing your mindset to be more focused on the recognition of the positive aspects of your life will help you reduce the number of intense emotions that you experience. Refocus your mind on the qualities instead of the weaknesses. It will allow you to eliminate the negative feelings. In this presentation, I will share knowledge about things that you need to give up to find emotional balance. Emotional balance is the ability to maintain a certain distance from our emotions without ignoring them. It is more about perspective than control. In some ways, people with emotional balance learn to be non-reactive when challenges or change is experienced in their life. When it comes to emotions, giving up is more important than holding on in the sense that if you hold on to a feeling, you tend to make it worse and more dramatic than what it truly is. You have to learn to give up the need to control your emotions or fuel your feelings. Reflect on your life. In which area of your life do you mostly react emotionally? The answer could be with friends, at work, on social media, watching TV, etc. Once you've identified the area where you seem to be the most emotional, take the time to identify which emotions do you feel the most in that situation. It could be anger, frustration, irritation, jealousy, shock, etc. Now take the time to reflect on what good that emotion gives you. Your answer will likely be not much. Then ask yourself why you keep on recreating that situation and that emotional state. To find emotional balance, you need to accept that you have to give up certain aspects of your life that no longer feed fulfillment and just bring emotional imbalance to your state. The giving up part doesn't have to be drastic, like cutting all relationships with friends or leaving your work. By being mindful of certain aspects of your life where you nurture unhealthy emotional reactions, it helps you shift the way you react and increase your chance of taming your emotions when faced with the same situation. On the other side, if you did say that work was fueling your emotional imbalance, it might not hurt to reassess your work situation and maybe acknowledge that it's time for you to move on to a new job. Dishonesty with ourselves is often the biggest imbalance we live in. When we start living the life of others and forget about what we want all along, we become off balance. Giving up the lies that we tell ourselves is probably one of the biggest ways you can redirect your life to be more meaningful and happier. When you find emotional balance, it means that you've found peace within and that no matter what life brings you, you are okay with that. If you feel ready to explore your emotional balance deeper, open the door to reflect on the lies that you tell yourself. That process of giving up what no longer serves you is similar to the concept of surrendering. Surrender is not a weakness, but an acceptance that we've been swimming against the current for way too long, and that it's time to go with the flow and accept what we can't change. When you surrender, you set yourself free for experience and welcome all the good life can offer you. It's an aspect that many of us will resist our whole life. Maybe try for one day to give up the need to control your life and see where it leads you. You could be pleasantly surprised by how your day turns out. It might be something you want to do every day. Giving up the things that don't allow us to be happier is key to finding balance in our life.